Well, hello. A little bit of notice here. I mean, I put the old camera in because the last two videos that I've made with my new computer and my new camera, I was told that the picture wasn't very good. Now, it looked fine to me on my end, but two people complained about it, and uh, there's probably a bunch that maybe saw something wrong and didn't say anything. So anyway, I put the old camera back to the new computer, and we'll see if this goes any better. The title of the video today is Early Man Was Not Primitive. And the blurb that I wrote goes like this. I wrote this title and blurb for my video back in November, at a time when things were chaotic for me. I put it on hold until now. And then quote, this is what I wrote back in November. We have been brainwashed, lied to, and enslaved. Many are waking up to this fact. In rereading the Anastasia books, now on book 6, the Book of Kin, I am amazed at how far we have been removed in consciousness from how we were created to be in the beginning. For thousands of years, we lived in communion with God, not as horrible sinners, but as creative beings with knowledge and abilities far beyond where we are now. Modern man is primitive. We have a lot to recover to even begin to experience life as God intended for his creation. Indeed, until I read the Anastasia books, my training on the beginning was from the Bible and things that I studied in regard to that. And all of that, I'm convinced, after reading Anastasia, that all of that came after the corruption of the creation. Anastasia had insights into how it was when God first did it. God didn't screw it up. Some other entities came in on earth and claimed to be God and created religions, and God no longer walked with man. God became removed from man because religions separated man from God. Again, religion comes from the word to bind. Now, Christians and other spiritual people in the modern era have said that to bind is a good thing. No, to bind means to enslave, and mankind became enslaved by something, by some entity, by some demonic influence or outside influence. Man became distorted, but man still has within ourselves this spark of divinity, and it never can go out because it was put there at the very beginning. No matter how much corruption enters into our lives and into the world, we still have that spark of divinity within each of us. And it's beyond religion. It's beyond all of the training and the bullshit that we've been dished out and piled upon throughout the history of our so-called modern world, which is not modern. It's not modern to be enslaved. It's not modern to have money. It's not modern to not be able to love one another. It's not modern to have such struggle just for survival. This is not modern. This is corruption. This is evil that has been placed upon top of creation, and somehow we need to extricate ourselves. Now, I don't understand, and I don't know if I can ever grasp why a creative God that to me is always all powerful would allow such corruption to mess with his creation or her creation. See, God to me is genderless. Okay, it's not he or she. It's he and she, but it's not it. It's got it has personality. It has personhood. Some people don't believe that. That's where I've always believed that God is a being, a person, an individual entity that was wanted to create man because God was all alone. It's not good that man should be alone. Actually, it was not good that God should be alone. It was not good. So God created man, and God created angels, and God created these other beings to experience his own ability to create. And I'm saying his again because I'm putting it in the masculine as the creative force, but it's the feminine that brings it into manifestation. There's the energy of the masculine, but the nurturance and the bringing it about into manifestation, that can only come from the feminine. So God is both the masculine and the feminine. In any case, I got really sidetracked. I mean, I believe at a time when I wrote that blurb and I was reading the Anastasia books, I would have been very uplifted. But then I got hit with all of the stuff of trying to steal my home, which ultimately happened. February the 5th, I guess, was the date. And I never erased that blurb. I mean, it still sat there on the video thing, and it sat underneath it. I kept putting new videos on top of it, new videos on top of it. But it sat there. It sat there waiting for me to use it. And I've been in a place the last while where everything is introspective. I mean, I'm just replaying my whole life, replaying my purpose. What am I here for? Did I screw up? Uh, did I get it all wrong? I mean, I've had a whole bunch of people tell me that God is not a person. That I have God, the idea of God, all mixed up. I don't think so. Anastasia talked about communion with God, God having communion in his own creation with his people. And I believe that was true in Russia. So it's interesting to me that Russia, as I'm looking at the world right now, leads the way in the awakening. Putin is the prime example. Now, he allowed the creation of what Anastasia called kin's domains, where they get a lifetime piece of land that's theirs and their families forever. Okay? That's the whole idea of kin's domain. It's not something that you have to struggle for. You're attached to that land. You become one with the land. You nurture the land nurtures you in return. That's how creation is supposed to be. But that's not how we distorted everything. And so my heart is crying and longing to get back to creation as Anastasia described it in the beginning, which to me is the most revelatory books, there's 9 of them, that I've ever read in my life. Are they perfect? I'm sure they're not. Nothing is perfect in this world, but they revealed something to me that resonated with me. And somehow that spark of excitement that was implanted in reading those books was taken away. And that's why this blurb sat there, just sat there, just sat there. I've seen it other times, and I've thought about using it, but no, until last evening when I thought, well, this is the one I'm going to use now. I just couldn't bring myself to it because there's such a dramatic shift in my consciousness once they started threatening to take my house and having to go through all that I went through. So anyway, I thank you for considering. I ask you to pray like you've never prayed before, and work with me and with other visionaries to help bring the new heaven and the new earth into manifestation here on this planet. And those that don't want to do that, let God deal with them somehow, removing them to somewhere where they can have the opportunity to come to their senses, because this insanity that they've put upon this world is just that, insane. And we need to stop it, folks. We need to love one another. Thank you for listening, and namaste.